Okay.
Okay, it might be fuzzy. Here we go. There we go. Might take focus. Focused in? Working? No, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah, because it takes a while to focus. Okay, the pâtés are done. I took the temperature, and it was at 160 Fahrenheit, which Celsius we didn't figure out yet. Let's move this stuff around a bit. Chicken livers are nice and cool. Pretty ugly looking, huh? Yeah, they're really grisly looking. Oof. Oof. Oh, I know. You gotta be careful. That's how they get all these black streaks. Never put an MB on a cutting board, especially in this kitchen, because he'll just leave a black circle there. It always happens. I gotta make sure too. That's from that pot. Okay, you can bring it in here a bit. You see, it shrunk down a lot. It's nice. It still has a nice spring to it. It's not hard as you think it would be. Now all this fat and on the bottom is cool wool. When this cools, it's going to soak it up like a sponge. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator, let it cool. Same here. This one's cooled a little more. This is a little harder. This cooked really quick because this is look how small that is. That's actually a very small item. So it cooked really, really quick. This took, I guess, about 45 minutes to cook. This was like 25, maybe 20. So once again, we're going to wrap these up. Plastic bags. And just slip them in there and put them in the refrigerator. Okay. And we'll go back to chicken livers here. So we did the poaching liquid, right? Onions, garlic, bay leaf, thyme, water. We added some white wine to it, and we added some carrot because we had it. Nothing wrong with that. This is garbage. Everything's garbage. What we're going to need is the livers out. Yeah, nice and cold. As I was saying before, this even though it's labeled as a pâté, it's more like a mousse, and really should have a food processor. Food processor is a type of machine with the flat blades, and it spins very fast. We don't seem to have one at school, which is kind of interesting. We got food mixers, but you can't use that for that. So we're going to do this by hand, which means probably garlic. Okay, this is all garbage. I'm going to chop this by hand, which might take some time. We might have to actually, thank you, might have to take a break on that, or I hand it off to you guys. Maybe I'll do that. You bring the camera in. See, the liver on the outside looks like that, but it should be a little pink on the inside. This is cooked. It's cooked 100%. It can turn into a paste, and that's what we got to turn it into. This is perfectly fine. So don't worry about the redness. I know a lot of guys can see the red. Go, oh no, it's cooked. Well, this is going to take some time. We're going to have to hand this off to one of the students.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this is the only way twice as fast. Oh yeah, let's try with the base. Maybe smearing it. I wonder. Maybe. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, easy, faster. This is originally hamburgers were made. Like hamburger when back in Germany, when Hamburg they first started, they would take meat, chop it, then push it through a strainer, which is not ground. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, okay, not bad. Once again, when you guys get jobs, you never work in a perfect kitchen. You always have to think about, I know what we need to do, and chopping this would take pretty close forever, that's for sure. When we started this is part 4. At the end of part 3, we started the chicken broth. Right? We talked about broth. Stock is meat and bones, and broth is meat. Stock is bones and mirepoix, and broth is meat, bones, and mirepoix. This is why I say, guys, I came in early. It's like, oh, I'm starting to make mistakes speaking. Let's see how smooth that is. Yeah, good. Yeah, you can see now it's like at the paste stage, which is what we want, but it's very dry and chunky. So what we're going to do is add some whole butter to it. So we're over on this side here. Butter, cognac, ground pepper, salt, baguette slices and stuff, that's for garnish. We'll finish it off on the last video when we cool off all the pâtés, because this has to sit too. I'm going to put some fresh thyme in here and some chopped onions. Now that's not on the recipe, and once again I told you guys, when you see a recipe you like, you try it, and then you change it to make it your own. Because that's what makes all restaurants good, is what the chef can present to the people that's a little different than the next guy. Good idea. Instead of saying you're chopping it for hours. This is really good if you have to do hard-boiled eggs. Egg white, egg yolk. You separate them. You just push them through it. It's done. That's what made me think of it. It has the same kind of consistency because you want a little bite to this too. You don't want it too smooth. You can make it super smooth. Cream cheese on oil?
Yeah,
that's very nice in here. That's a very nice item. We have some whipping cream we can add to it too. But let's just keep it a little simpler. Can you wash this? Give me a new cutting board. Let me done. Go ahead. It reminds me of cat food. Now it gets cold, it gets very, very thick. And I'm gonna probably mix this off the ice, only because if this gets too cold, the butter will not blend. I gotta blend the butter. That's why machine is better for this. And a food processor, do you guys know what a food processor is?
Yeah.
You know, it's a plastic, usually small, flat knives, yeah. How we don't have one, I don't know. How is school doesn't have one? If we had them, but they do break. Fair amount of pepper, only because it is just plain liver. Salt. Let me clean some thyme before. You say it's not in the recipe, but I'm gonna put some onion in too. To me, the onion is, besides delicious, onion has a lot of moisture in it. You know, so once again, it makes things taste alive. Knife, please. These come with it. That's all we're gonna need in there. You swing over here. Check our stock. Let's see if we've got a goop chest somewhere. Thank you. Real nice color. Yeah. Right? No, I mean, this is really rich. And for the chicken meat, before we clean the guys who just came in, we clean the chicken. The bones are for the sauce class. The meat is for us, and we can use this broth obviously for the sauce class because even though it's we'll be making a velouté, but this is a great start. Great start. Gosh, I want to actually eat that. Melt this in butter, which you're gonna have to bring back. This is just plain butter. Just want to keep it melted. Not cooked, just melted. Old Mirepoix bucket. Never worth cutting your fingers for. When you get an onion get down too small, every restaurant or hotel has a Mirepoix bucket where you put your leftover onions and garlic and things like that in. I worked for a lot of European chefs, and European chefs are very, very, you know, you said Korean salty. You know, they say European chefs. In Europe itself has a long history of wars. You know, no, really, they really do. And so these guys grow up being very careful about their money and their food, especially the French chefs. I don't know why, that just seems to be. Now you notice, once again, if you've been in my classes too, a lot of times I don't cut things very small, but something like this, like a mousse or a pâté, you have to really, like this would be a little smoother than the country style pâtés are chunky, big pieces of meat. The galantine, you had the big pieces of ham in there and things like that. This is going to be smoother. I might even add cream. I'll see how it comes out. And I really take this down very small. Like I said before, many times, I say a lot too, is that to you guys, onions are okay. To a Westerners, this is actually a tremendous amount of onions for this amount. A lot of Westerners go, oh, that tastes too strong of onions. You guys are my customers. You know, I have to cook for you guys in that aspect. Obviously, I'm gonna, you know, we're still doing the classical French style, but once again, I'm not gonna add gochujang to it, but I want to make it so you guys taste and go, oh, I like that. You know, so a lot of times in class too, I add a lot of garlic to things, extra garlic. Yeah, so I'm making this into gangjang paste. So once I add the butter, it's going to be very hard to mash it down. Check the seasoning. Good. Long time no liver. I'm going to add a little extra black pepper, a little extra white pepper to it. Now, since this is a mousse, not really a pâté, this is not going to be cooked in the oven, so you have to season it and finish it seasoning. And this is not served like with a pâté. We'll make a mayonnaise, maybe an aioli or something. We'll see what we have. butter. This room temperature, see, it's very soft. If it's too hard, you never blend it in. And another note too, when you're buying spoons, like these kind of spoons, if you get them very cheap, they're very thin, and this hurts. You know, when you stir a lot with it, once or twice, yeah, it's fine, but boy, this is like a little razor. It's really hard. See, the butter's stiffening up. I'm gonna have to wrap that. Oh, this is really sharp, especially with this kind of mixing. This is why you need a machine for this. Now the butter gives it a good mouthfeel. A glass of red wine, some of this, very, very nice. Very rich, high in calories. The butter really took the salt away. Now this is brandy, not cognac, but they're very similar in a way. Cognac actually comes from a region. It's a brandy come from a region. But it's a very important flavoring ingredient on there. Smoothed it out a lot too. Yeah, made it much nicer. Okay, so we got everything in there. I was thinking of putting some sand cream in there, which is not bad, not a bad thing to do. Let me separate. Give me a little bowl. Let's see how this looks. I'm afraid if I add the cream, it's gonna be an ugly color more than anything else. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Test. So we're gonna just take a little. Just take a little cream. It might make it a little too soft. Now, when we refrigerate this, it's going to get harder. Oh, that's a little nicer. I think it gives it better mouthfeel. Mouthfeel meaning in the mouth, a little more fat into it. Needs more salt if I do. It should have a soul kick to it, a little to it. Because this is basically just chicken livers. Vote. Sand cream? No sand cream. Sand cream? Yes, no?
No. Yeah, you can cream.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Majority. No, I think I just the smoothness of it, you know, the texture of it. I think you guys would like it better, more less gogi-ish, less gogi flavor. But once again, you always have to. Every chef has to understand who their clients are, who their customers are. I mean, adding more alcohol because it needs more, and it does need a little more salt. It takes a lot of salt. And then add the cream, it's going to take a little more salt. So, no more pepper, pepper's fine. Put a little parsley in there. To me, parsley always gives a lot of freshness to it. Same with lemon juice. Lemon juice and pâtés were very nice. Because pâtés are really just really gogi based, so they're very heavy. Lemon juice makes light. Oh yeah. Oh, much better. Because of the richness of this type of pâté, this is purely appetizer hors d'oeuvre type of item. You guys might not like it because it's first of all, it's a new taste for you guys. You know, you taste it the first time, it's like, what? Oh. But no. Now we can put it on ice. Chill it down a bit. Now we don't have a pastry bag. You put it in a pastry bag, put it on baguettes, ding, 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 or into something. How much time you got there?
21.
Good timing. Good timing. I'm going to put it in this. Might be interesting. And once again, we have to let this set overnight. Streak of milk. A little difficult getting it in here. My hero. Thank you. Meat ice cream. Wet the back. If you have to handle this, you wet your hands so it doesn't stick. See more time? Just clean a little. Just clean a little, get the leaves off. They make a nice garnish, I think. There you got a big air bubble in there. That's okay. Kind of critical that it looks smooth. It look much better smoother. As this sits overnight, because since it's not being cooked, it sit overnight, the flavor will all blend more in together. Same with the pâtés. They should sit overnight, sometimes up to a week, 2 weeks. Very oriental service here, that's for sure. Thank you. Now, classical French cooking, once again, a lot of calories, lot of cholesterol. Not very healthy, that's for sure. As I said in the other video too, I learned how to make pâtés in school, and it was almost 10 years between when I was in school. I was like 35 when a chef asked me, he goes, "You guys you know how to make pâté?" He was a French chef. You know, "Monsieur, pâté." And I was like, "Yeah, I remember in school a little." Well, the things I was telling, you know, because I got 2 teams now, so I'm teaching these guys the same thing. You know, the key points are like ice bath, sanitation, notice changing things, keeping things very clean, because this is not going to be cooked anymore. So you know, you don't be jamming your fingers in there or anything like that. Not as level as I wanted, not as pretty as I wanted. Glass is very hard to do. Traditionally, it's served in something like this. You know, they're called ramekins, and you'll see on the recipe that it has a spelling for ramekins, but they're usually much smaller. This would be too big of a portion. I'm going to try 2 ways. Try this. Now I melted this butter earlier, and this is once again a very traditional thing, is to put a cap on it of butter. You can see why I'm spending so much time trying to make it level. It serves 2 purposes. It gives it a certain amount of flavor and creaminess. And second of all, it makes a shield of air. All pâtés all started with preserving things before refrigeration. And then the second method, I was going to just throw the thyme in there. I can see both ways are fine. The glass is a nice idea. I kind of like that. Excuse me. Carefully put it in the refrigerator. Okay. Let's see, what's the time frame there?
28.
20?
Yes. 28.
28. Okay, we're over that limit. Okay, yeah, we'll stop there. So we did. So far, we did it's a long day. The 2 pâtés. Well, actually, we did 2 pâtés, three different portions, serving styles. We cut down the chicken. We have that going, and then we'll do the gravlax next. Okay. Thank you very much. See you at part 5.